Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm It's Robbie Rhino, and in today's video I have one replay for you in the Ignis Purgatio. This is the Era 2 Independent Alliance Premium Medium Tank, and it's the only Cold War option you have if you want to participate or get a tank from this Warhammer / World of Tanks console collaboration. It's a pretty fun Era 2 medium tank with an ATGM launcher and a 20-shot 90mm primary gun. And if you want to see a full review of this vehicle, I do have one on my channel and I'll link that above for you now. It's pretty in-depth and there's also some more gameplay there, but I wanted to feature this particular game as a standalone video on my channel because it really does demonstrate how powerful this vehicle is and how much you can get out of it. Even if you don't have the best start to your games, you can definitely utilise the mobility and the pretty nice concealment of this medium tank later on in the battle to take down some pretty clutch moments. So definitely stick around for a pretty epic ending to this particular gameplay. But if you wanted to get this tank at full price, it's 11,400 gold, and I would highly recommend you try and get the biggest discount you can off of this tank with the Warhammer Ops. You can get this tank down to 10,200 gold with a 10% discount. 20% discount gives you 9,100 gold for the tank, and the max discount you can get on this vehicle is 30%, which makes this tank worth 8,000 gold, and I think that's a pretty good price for how powerful this tank can be. So the Ignis Purgatio, as you can see, it is basically a skinned Batchat from the World War II game mode brought over to the Cold War game mode. And it's an Era 2 Independent Alliance Premium Medium Tank, as I said at the start of this battle. In terms of its playstyle, it's a hybrid kind of scout, medium tank, assassin. You go in with your autoloader, with your ATGM launcher, and you take out tanks very quickly. Then you use your mobility and concealment to scuttle off and reload your firepower. Then you can go in again. And you're very adept at playing this kind of scouting gameplay, which I've tried to do a little bit at the start of this battle, as we are playing an assault here, and we are the assaulting team on Thiepval Ridge, so I wanted to try and push the tempo with a bit of view range. But a lot of our teammates are kind of sat around at the spawn at the moment, so I'm just going to swing back, try and take out a few tanks, try and get this battle moving, because we are going to have to advance and either capture the base or take out all the remaining enemy tanks, and it doesn't help when all of your team are situated in the southeastern corner. So we're going to see if we can be the push with this armadillo, trying to get this battle going. And if you notice, I've lost a lot of hit points, even more there with that shot from that FV4 to 11, so we're going to have to try and use the mobility and the concealment to get the most out of this vehicle for the rest of the gameplay. We've already got a little bit of spotting and we have a little bit of damage, but there's plenty of work for us left to do in this particular game. If you're wondering what setup I'm running for this gameplay, in terms of my equipment, I'm running advanced powertrain, traction system and gun stabilizer. And in terms of my commander skills, I'm running 6th Sense, Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Rapid Aim, Snapshot and Run and Gun. So very much focused on gun handling skills, a couple of concealment perks to boost up the concealment, especially while I'm on the move trying to get into some advantageous positions over tanks like medium tanks, heavy tanks that don't have great concealment. You're going to struggle to outspot quite a lot of the light tanks, but that is only natural. But for a medium tank, you do have some very nice concealment on this vehicle. And in terms of the equipment, I'm boosting the gun with the gun stabilizer, the accuracy and the advanced powertrain and the traction system to get this mobility up as good as it can be, because it does turn a little bit slow with its whole traverse, so definitely watch out for that. But as an ATGM, what looks like flight straight through there, that 30B2 Farad, we unfortunately take another massive hit and we are down to 116 hit points in this battle. And now we are in one-shot territory for everything on the enemy team, so we have to be very, very careful for the remainder of this battle and see if we can be a little bit more careful about how we engage our opponents. But you can go and play this more aggressive style ambush gameplay when needed, and I think although we have lost a lot of hit points, some of the ambushes that we have set up and some of the teammates that we have tried to help has meant that we are able to get a couple of kills and take some hit points off some pretty dangerous tanks, especially that FV4-11, who I believe we ammo-racked, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be a clip up of that as a short on my channel very soon. So we now try and fire an ATGM blind at that 30B2 Farad in the distance. We unfortunately miss, but we can unload with our 90mm 20-shot autoloader. The accuracy isn't great with my setup, but it's just good enough so that if you're in a position kind of stationary shooting, it doesn't affect the tank too much, and I'd rather invest in a little bit of concealment and mobility to help this tank out in that regard. So in particular here, we are on Thiepval Ridge. We are now 4 against 4, and there is an enemy platoon and a friendly platoon. One of our friendly platoon members gets taken down, so it's now 3 versus 4, and we're going to have to do everything we can to try and stay hidden, but also get shots out where possible. And when you're in these kinds of scenarios, when you're fighting against a greater number of tanks or fighting people that are in platoons and you are playing as a solo player, you want to take tanks out as quickly as you can so that they don't have time to strategize, get together and sort of corner you into a position or come at you at the same time. You want to take them out one by one, and that gives you the best chance of taking down these end game scenarios. So it hasn't been the best game so far. We have done a little bit in terms of assistance and a little bit in terms of damage, but now we're going to try and utilize the firepower of this vehicle, and this is where this tank comes into its own. You have that 20-shot autoloader which can deal 3,000 damage if you penetrate every single round, and you have that ATGM launcher with a very nasty alpha damage of 700, so you can definitely make the most of that. And if you have my setup, you're looking at a technical combined DPM of around 6,077 when you are fully loaded with your ATGM and your autoloader, so very powerful indeed. It's going to be good for scenarios like this as we nearly flip our tank. It's now 1 versus 3, and 2 of the enemy team are in a platoon, so we're going to have to be very careful about how we deal with this. We're going to pop up, fire an ATGM, guide it, and then fall back. Use our smoke consumable, which is a godsend in a vehicle like this, because when you get spotted, you are a fairly sort of chunky sized medium tank for the enemies to hit. We ambush the second tank with our 20-shot autoloader, and then we're going to use our mobility to circle this Tyran, and we managed to set him on fire and take the Tyran 6 out, and now it's a 1 versus 1, and we turned that from a 1 versus 3 into a 1 versus 1 very quickly, and now it's all about trying to get the last damaging ATGM into this tank. We're going to make sure we give plenty of lead, and we fly the ATGM right through the turret there of the 30B2 Farad, and we take down that very close game, and we turned a pretty bad start into a pretty epic game, showing you that with the mobility, concealment and the ambush nature of the Ignis Purgatio, you can have some pretty epic games. That's 6 kills, 7.4k direct damage, 2,000 assistance, and a lovely profit with or without a premium account. I'm using the Patricia Laserian 3D commander. Let me know what you think of the commanders in the comments. So pretty grating commentary after a while if you use this commander for too long. But yeah, we went full Warhammer mode there, taking that one down at the end in a 1 versus 3. And that multiple weapon system, so powerful. You're holding down that ammo select button, you're switching between ATGMs and a 20-shot autoloader without any time penalty, and that will allow you to do crazy things like that, take out multiple tanks very quickly, or you can dump a lot of damage into a single tank and completely cripple them for the remainder of the battle. So I hope you enjoyed watching that replay as I talked a little bit about the tank and the playstyle that I like to adopt in it. I hope that has demonstrated to you how dangerous this tank is. I wouldn't say that it is overpowered. I just say that it is a very good tank, and of course, being the only Cold War tank in the Warhammer collaboration, I'm assuming a lot of people will be interested in this vehicle. So for the 20 or 30% off, I'd say it is worth it, and it's a fair price for a pretty good tank. But that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.